An encampment dismantled. Law enforcement in riot gear bring an end to a week-long protest at UCLA. Using flashbangs and zip ties, protesters detained one by one. After a 9-hour-long standoff, more than 200 arrested.
Free Palestine!
If I'm free, then what does that mean if my brothers and sisters in Palestine aren't free?
To just free Palestine, that's why we're all here. And this is an attack on democratic rights. This is outrageous.
And following the early morning raid, daylight revealed the damage left behind. Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5 o'clock now, simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. I'm Marla Tejas. Alex Michelson is on assignment.
And I'm Christine Devine. A drastic difference on the UCLA campus from yesterday to today. Here's the latest on the encampment raid early this morning. Just before 3 a.m., hundreds of law enforcement breached and dismantled the pro-Palestine encampment at UCLA. But an hour later, the area was cleared. More than 200 people were arrested. They're likely looking at only misdemeanor cases, according to the LA DA, George Gascon.
And just moments ago, UCLA's chancellor spoke publicly for the first time since this entire ordeal began. We have team coverage tonight. Fox 11's Susan Harrisuna will show us the cleanup efforts on campus.
We begin with Matthew Seedorf, who has those new details from the chancellor and some of the arrested protesters. Matthew.
Yeah, Christine, the chancellor says that he wanted to give students a chance to express themselves, raise their voices, kind of following the model as Cal Berkeley. But after the violence on Tuesday, he says they changed their mind. Here he is just moments ago.
It was clear by yesterday that no solution was really possible, that we couldn't come to any kind of compromise. And our feeling was at this point that the encampment simply had to be removed, and the students were told they'd have to vacate, and they could vacate freely, and they could leave without any, without any impact on them. But unfortunately, we had to call in the police. Very few students, actually some left immediately. When the police arrived, many of the students that were in the encampment and others left. But there was a residual group that didn't leave, that resisted. Some resisted police action to remove them, and it led to a number of arrests.
Interesting to hear him explaining their thought process through this for the first time, but very different here from what we've been seeing throughout this last week. Now we're hearing from those arrested for the first time. Pro-Palestinian campaign protesters from UCLA now getting released from jail. The demonstrators greeted outside with food and cheers.
It was for a cause I believed in, and I was surrounded by my fellow students. I'm proud in being arrested tonight.
Early Thursday morning, UCLA police arrested 210 people at the camp for failure to disperse. Back up. The large encampment covered the campus's quad almost a week.
I don't see anything unlawful about it. I think we were peaceful.
Late Tuesday night, pro-Israel supporters clashed with encampment demonstrators. At least 15 people injured, some beaten.
I was clubbed 2 times in the head with a wooden 2x4 beam.
This UCLA student arrested Thursday morning at the encampment says he had to go to the hospital the night before with a concussion after the violent conflict with counter-protesters.
One side is being really just protective, holding a line, while the other side is coming up and being very aggressive.
You can't define this as peaceful when you're vandalizing school buildings. You're creating a system of apartheid where you allow certain people into half the campus.
Oh, look, they're making their burger while I'm doing.
Cell phone video this week shows protesters blocking a Jewish student from walking through a section of campus, while photos inside the camp show graffiti on buildings and sidewalks, some of it considered offensive towards Jewish people. How do you react to the graffiti inside the camp, even swastikas?
I heard you mention swastikas. I've actually not seen any swastikas. I've seen a lot of the graffiti. We wanted it to raise attention to disrupt events because the campus wasn't willing to do anything.
Everybody I protested with would not stand with those actions. Doing such things like that, they're not really for the movement.
Was there some division between the group on that?
Okay. Okay. I don't think we're talking to media anymore.
Interviews cut short by demonstrators covering our camera, the group writing Free Palestine, this time outside the LA jail. And the protesters we met say they never actually spoke with UCLA staff about their demands this entire week. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
All right, Matthew, thank you. We have this update now from the LA Mayor, Karen Bass. She says she was at the incident command post at UCLA last night and into this morning. She issued a statement saying every student deserves to be safe and live peacefully on their campus. Harassment, vandalism, and violence have no place at UCLA or anywhere in our city. My office will continue to coordinate closely with local and state law enforcement, area universities, and community leaders to keep campuses safe and peaceful.
And as we mentioned earlier, cleanup efforts at UCLA, they've been ongoing all day long as the quad between Royce Hall and Powell Library is almost back to normal. Fox 11's Susan Hirasuna, she joined us now live 24 hours ago. This was a much different picture.
Well, Marla, from this vantage point, we couldn't even see into the camp because they had basically bolstered their fencing with those tall pieces of plywood. Well, now you see it's pretty much cleaned up, but there's still some graffiti left at Royce Hall. Meantime, other efforts to keep the students out, they will continue. And here's an example of what happened when some students tried to get to this area earlier today.
Let's turn around and go. No! The answer is no!
These people found out what happens when you try to get back into the area that was a pro-Palestinian encampment.
Shame on you. All right. Shame on you.
This after a raucous night as police moved in to arrest those who wouldn't leave the area around 3 a.m. With smoke hovering over the camp and the sound of flashbang, LAPD and CHP officers moved in to break down the tents and remove the plywood barriers, all while protesters tried to hold their ground. By daylight, a cleanup effort that required dozens of workers to pick up the tarps and trash. Bulldozers moved in to move the trash into giant bins, eventually filled to the brim. Today, LA's Gigi Gracia toured the exterior of Royce Hall.
Now all of the walls are either spray painted or chalked with different messages.
The graffiti will be removed, but will be cleaned, and that takes more time than merely painting over the graffiti that was on the plywood surrounding a scaffold. And then we found this in an area on campus far away from the protest area, including a swastika. We tried to get student reaction to the overnight events.
Sense from people what they think about what happened.
Sorry, I got a phone call.
Condition of the campus right now.
All right, so multiple barriers still remain up. In fact, this area, we had some trouble getting back into this area, so it is clear they're trying to keep any protesters from coming back into the area. But this is a sprawling campus. I did talk to somebody who then refused to be let us use her interview, but she says there are plans. She just is not privy to them, but certainly the campaign, pro-Palestinian campaign, is not over here at UCLA. Reporting live in Westwood, Susan Hirasuna. Back to you.